Hello artists, so today we are going to be learning how to make our Cubist portraits, inspired by Pablo Picasso. But before we do that, we need to learn about geometric and organic shapes. So geometric shapes are shapes that usually have a name and shapes that we sometimes maybe talk about in math. So here is an example of some geometric shapes, and we might even recognize some of these shapes already, like squares, triangles, circles, and rectangles. So these are some shapes we can use to make the shape of our head for our portrait. And if you want to use any of the other shapes on this example, you can go ahead and pause the video and draw that shape nice and big on your paper. The other shapes we'll be talking about are organic shapes. Organic shapes are the opposite of geometric shapes. Organic shapes we can see in nature. They are natural shapes and free-forming shapes. Shapes that usually don't have a name but sometimes may have a name. Some examples of organic shapes can be clouds, leaves, flowers, and raindrops. So now that we've learned organic versus geometric shapes, we're going to pull out our bank of different cubist eyes, noses, mouths, and ears, and we are going to get started with our portraits. So I first have a sheet of plain white paper, and I'm going to use a Sharpie to draw my portrait. If you'd like to use a pencil and go over and Sharpie, you can do that too. And I drew this organic shape for my head. And now I'm going to pick this eye to draw for my eyes on my portrait. And you do not have to make this portrait look like you, but if you would like to make this a self-portrait, then you can. Now, instead of drawing my eyes right next to each other, I'm going to put my other eyeball slightly above the one that I just drew. I think this is going to make my portrait look more cubist. And now I'm going to put my nose, the line for my nose, starting on top of my head, and I'm just going to pick the nose I'm going to use. So I'm going to pick that one. And I'm starting the line for my nose, and I'm going all the way down and drawing that nose. Next, I'm going to pick a mouth, so I'm going to choose this one down here. And I decide to leave a little space in between the two lips so my mouth looks like it's open. And now I'm going to go and add some details. I'm adding some eyelashes to my eyes. And then I'm just adding some eyebrows to my character. And you can have your eyebrows go off the face a little. And then at the top of the nose, I'm going to have my hairline starting there. And I'm going to have my character having pigtails. You can do whatever hairstyle you want to do on your portrait. And now I'm just adding some lines to the hair. And then I added a little bit of freckles. And now I'm going to draw a neck and shirt for my character. And I'm going to put a polka dot pattern on my shirt. For my next example of our Cubist portrait, I'm using a geometric shape, so I chose to use a heart this time for the shape of my head. And then I'm going to pick an eye, but I'm going to pick this eye to do on the right side of the face. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to choose another eye to do on the other side of my face. So I'm going to choose that one and I'm going to do two different eyes. So if you want to do two different eyes on your portrait, you can do that. So now I'm going to basically do the same steps I did in the other portrait. So I'm going to go super speed here and we will be done with our portrait right now. And for this portrait, I chose to draw my character's entire body. Once you're done drawing your character, you can color your character in. So here are some examples of how I colored my characters in. You do not have to make their skin color a normal skin color or their hair color a normal hair color, just like Picasso did. So once you're done coloring your character in, I want you to go and make a background, a pattern background for your character. So what I'm doing is I took a crayon and I am making a polka dotted background. I'm coloring in some of my polka dots and leaving some of them uncolored. So I have a nice variation of different polka dots. So you could think of a pattern that you would like to do for your background. You could do stripes, polka dots, zigzags, whatever you like. And that is it, artists. Good luck!